Good evening, everyone. This is Chris on IMTN Worldwide Radio, and this is Around the ATL Side Notes, a show where it's not a full show, it's just me. And tonight I have a particular topic, but before I get started, I wanted to start the show off in regards to something that happened today. Our man Eddie Carswell, representing Dublin, Georgia, New Pack City, and Atlanta Hawks home court, passed away today. And it's a big deal because of all the people that Eddie has touched. Of course, initially in regards to sports, but of course, just in general. And of course, we want to say, have our thoughts and prayers to his family and everybody that knew him. It's definitely a difficult time. We've been on a couple of shows and pages and Facebook Lives and things of this nature during the day, just telling stories about them and things of that nature. So hopefully everybody keeps that up. But just want to make sure that we, keep Eddie and his family in our thoughts forever, basically. So I wanted to make sure I said that. Now, this show will be a little bit shorter because before the show, something happened to my back. I don't know what happened, but my whole right side is in pain. I took something for it. Maybe it'll kick in. Well, I'm gonna try to gut it out, but it hurts to move. In other words, so around the ATL side note. So our show around the ATL typically is a 2-hour show. We're talking Atlanta sports, Georgia sports in general, and we're talking about all the teams. But when I do around the ATL side notes, I'm only talking about something very specific as far as topic. So we'll be doing that tonight. Before I get started officially, make sure you subscribe to the IMTN Worldwide Radio YouTube channel. If you get a chance, you could also follow on Facebook or Instagram, either or, pick your poison. There's also the IMTNworldwide.com, the IMTN Worldwide Radio website as well. There it is. Go check that out. I will be updating it very soon. I have some articles that I'm going to add. I'm actually going to read them tonight, but I'm going to add those to the page sometime tonight. But if you could do that, I really would appreciate it. And self-promotion, I'm still shooting this month. If you know somebody on the planet Earth that's graduating, they need pictures, hey, hit me up. If you need pictures in general for your business, you need headshots, or you're pursuing different things where you need photos, hit me up, imtnworldwideimages.com. It's crawling around right there. If anything, you can hit me up on Facebook as well. So that all being said, earlier today, 9 hours ago, I posted something on Twitter. I refuse to call it X, sorry. So what I said was 3 players in NBA history have back-to-back 25-point, 10-assist years in the NBA. In history, just 3, okay? Trae Young happens to be one of those guys, okay? Trae is tied for 8th in playoff history. Remember, Trae has only been in the playoffs 3 times, but Trae is tied for 8th in playoff history all time in 30-point, 10-assist games. Only Oscar Robertson, James Harden, LeBron James, and Russell Westbrook are ahead of Trae all-time 30-point, 10-assist games in NBA history. Trae has only played 6 seasons, okay? Let's get rid of Trae Young, though. Nobody said get rid of Bobby Sura. Nobody said get rid of, I don't know, just anybody. Actually, I'll cut ahead. I was going to do something, but let's go ahead and go to it now. Let me see if I can pull it up and move it. Here we go. Can I move it to this screen? Let's see. Yes, I can. Nobody said, let me pull my screen back up here because I've lost myself. Let me see if I can find myself here. I'm trying to do this on the fly, guys. That's not it. There we are. Nobody said get rid of, let's go back to the year, I don't know. Let's go back to 2000, no, let's go back to 1983. All right. So let's see. Let's move up a little bit. I want to go back that far. Let's see. Roy Marble, Haywood Workman, Ramil Robinson. Actually, let's do this. I'm gonna go in order. I'm gonna do this like I originally planned it. Let me stop where I'm at, okay? Well, let's get rid of Trae Young for those things that he's done so far as an Atlanta Hawk and representing the NBA in totality. And think about all the Atlanta Hawks that have ever existed and tell me what they have done, okay? Think about that. What I was told was, the response I got from that particular tweet was, individual stats don't matter. He hasn't won a championship yet. Now think about that statement. First of all, my response to that was to this person was, well, first of all, assists aren't an individual stat. You have to have somebody involved for that assist to happen. Somebody has to hit a shot every time that ball is passed. The whole purpose is they're passing the ball thinking that you're going to hit the shot, where that doesn't always happen, especially on the Hawks sometimes, right? Trae is averaging 10 assists a game, despite the fact we don't have all the players that other teams have, like the Indiana Pacers, for instance, who hit shots and finish at the basket, right? But besides that, points are important. Consistency is important. Isn't that true? Last I heard, that was a big deal. Would you rather have somebody scoring 12 points a game or 25 points a game? You're really telling me that players that score 12 points a game are better? They win more? They win more? They're responsible for championships? I haven't seen that lately. Okay? So let's do this now. And if you heard the sounder of the show, you heard 2 things playing. That was because my intro was playing with the actual YouTube channel. So I'm gonna see if I can pull it up so I can read. I should have copy pasted it. Now I'm trying to do this on the fly. See what happens when you're trying to do an impromptu show? Let's see. How can I? Oh, I know how I can do this. Let's pull it up on YouTube. Let's see. This might work. Give me a second. Bear with me. There it is, right there. I had to pause myself because now I got both shows pulled up. So I want to read you the intro to tonight's show. To dismiss Trae Young and what he has done means you have to dismiss everyone that has played for the Hawks ever, the Braves ever, the Atlanta Falcons ever, that also have not won a championship, but they were good to great players. You have to dismiss all the Hall of Fame players in all sports too, that haven't won a championship, but they're in the Hall of Fame, right? Because it doesn't matter because they don't have a ring, right? Whole career is just snuffed out. For the Atlanta Hawks, Dominique Wilkins retired top 10 in NBA history in scoring, averaging 24 points a game as a Hawk, okay, just as a Hawk. He has a statue in front of State Farm Arena. Why? Let's dismiss Dominique Wilkins. Terry Pendleton won an MVP with the Braves. Let's dismiss Terry. TP. Matt Ryan, obviously, top 10 in yards, touchdowns, wins, passing percentage. He's an all-time leader in everything Falcons history forever and ever. Also coming from behind wins, by the way. Let's go ahead and dismiss Matt Ryan as well. Would y'all have dismissed Freddie Freeman if he didn't get that ring? What about Chipper? Chipper only has one ring. What if he didn't get that ring? One of the greatest third basemen of all time, throw him out the window too. Julio Jones, Mike Vick, Roddy White, Jesse Tuggle, all of them. Bums, right? It didn't win a ring. Their accomplishments, all the tackles, all the catches, pass catches, interceptions, three-pointers, right? Bogey just is leading the Hawks in three-pointers made in the season. Throw that out the window, doesn't matter. Inconsequential, right? Dan Marino, Warren Moon, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Tracy Mcgrady, Mike Trout, Tony Gwynn, Griffey Jr. His career doesn't matter. Barry Bonds, Bruce Smith, Jim Kelly, all trash. None of them won a ring. Accomplishments matter because without them, there are no sports. Because sports only exist because you keep score. There's a winner and a loser because there's a score. Otherwise, what are we even talking about? Right? So I wanted to be real upfront about just that aspect of it. So now let me go back to what I was about to do. I'm about to read off. Oh, where did I put it? Did I close out of it? I sure did. So let's see if I can find it. Oh, there it is right there. So let's use the year 1983. I can do that. The Atlanta Hawks have had a lot of NBA drafts. Agreed, right? So here is a reminder of who the Hawks have drafted since 1983. I don't want to go further back than that, all right? 1983. Now remember, back in the day, there was like 17 rounds of the NBA draft, right? So let me let Mr. Motorcycle guy go by. 1983, Doc Rivers, Marquette, John Pinion, I don't know who that is, Harry Kelly, Charles Jones, Tom Bethea, Lex Drum, George Thomas, Will Kochery, Ronnie Carr. 1983, Doc Rivers was in the 83 draft, okay? Now, in Hawks history, pretty good player. Up until recently, he led all of Atlanta Hawks in assists all time. Think about how long Doc Rivers played, and no other Atlanta Hawks got up to where they were going to pass Doc Rivers all time in the Hawks history for assists. Trae Young is now leading after 6 seasons. No big deal, though. 1984, Kevin Willis, Bobby Parks, Dickie Bill, Terry Martin, Jim Master, Vince Martello, Robert Brown, Fred Brown, Doug Mills. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Right? Kevin Willis, we know Kevin. Kevin scored 17,000 points. Pretty good player, I think. I thought 8 rebounds a game, not bad. Right? Oh, well, throw him out the window too. 1985, John Concat, Lorenzo Charles, Cedric Toney, Arvydas Sabonis, of course we didn't keep him, John Battle, Larry Hampton, Tony Duckett, Bob Ferry. You know what John Contract didn't do for the Atlanta Hawks, obviously. Now remember, I'm just talking about drafted players, okay? Not talking about trades and all that. 1986, Billy Thompson, Cedric Henderson, Augusto Bonilli, Ron Kellogg, Dave Hoppin, Jim Les, Ephraim Winters, Nicky Jones, Alexander Volkov, our guy. 6.8 points a game, 2.2 assists a game. Alexander Volkov. Valerie Tishnicko, 1986. 1987, Dallas, I don't know how to pronounce that last name. I can't even try it. Terrence Bailey, Terry Conner, Song Tao, Theophanis Christodoulou, Jose Antonio Montero, these are who the Hawks are drafting, by the way. Okay. That was 1987. 1988, Anthony Taylor, Jorge Gonzalez, Darryl Middleton. That's 88. 89, Roy Marble, Haywood Workman. 1990, Ramil Robinson, Trevor Wilson, Steve Bardo. Ramil Robinson, 7.6 points a game, 3.5 assists. That's good stuff, ain't it? Ain't it? We were winning basketball games, weren't we? 1991, Stacey Augmon, Anthony Avent, Rodney Monroe. Now we know Plastic Man had a pretty decent career overall in context, right? 1992, 10th pick of the draft, Adam Keefe, Stanford. No, he did 5 points a game. 1993, Doug Edwards, Rich Manning. 1994, Galen Nickerson. 1995, Hindu, Allen Henderson. 7.8 points a game. That's what he averaged for his career. 5 rebounds. Donnie Boyce, Troy Brown, Quanzo Martin. 1996, Priest Lauderdale. 3.4 points a game, y'all. 1997, our man, Chris Crawford. I was a Chris Crawford believer for like half a minute. Sure was. Thought he was going to be the man. He could never play. Alan Digbu and Ed Gray. Remember Ed Gray? The great Ed Gray, Atlanta Hawks history. 1998, Rashawn McLeod, Duke University, 7.2 points a game. 1999, JT, the Jet, Jason Terry, Cal Bowler, Deion Glover, and Jermaine Jones. Hawks drafted all these players. Now, of course, Jason Terry had a great career. He was one of a few Hawks guards to average 19 points in the season. Remember when I talked about how many players in Hawks history actually averaged 20 points a game in a season? Jason missed it by 1 point. Dennis Schroeder had one season he averaged 19 points a season. One season. There is only a few who've ever scored 20 points in a season. Of course, Trae Young is one of them, right? As far as shooting guards go, Joe Johnson, obviously, Steve Smith, that's about it. Power forwards, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, he's one who's done it before. Centers, there's only 2 in all of Hawks history. Bob Pettit, and Moses Malone did it one season for the Hawks. The only season he was here. No other center has done that. There's 2 small forwards that have done it. All of Hawks history. Dominique Wilkins and Big Dog, Glenn Robinson, did it the one season he was here. That's it. That's just getting the 20 points a game. Now think about that. Totality of Hawks history. Let me finish this draft up for y'all. The year 2000, 24 years ago, okay? DeMar Johnson, Pano Matola, and Scooney Penn. 2001, Pau Gasol. Of course, we didn't keep him. Terrence Morris. 2002, David Anderson. 2003, Boris Diaw. Very, very decent player overall, right? Travis Hansen. 2004. Here we go. We're tearing up a little bit now. We're going up. We're leveling up a little bit now. 2004, Jay Chill, Josh Childress, Jay Smooth, Josh Smith, Donta Smith, Royale Ivy. Royale with cheese, right? And then Victor San something. I can't pronounce that one. That was 2004. 2005. Y'all know about this one, right? Marvin Williams. Salim Stoudemire, and Sink Akol. 2006, Sheldon Williams. Boy. 5th. Sheldon averaged 4.5 points and 4 rebounds a game, and that was it for him. Solomon Jones was also picked that same year. 2007, Al Horford and AC Law. AC Law averaged 3.9 points a game. Al, 13 points. 2009, Jeff Teague, 12 points a game. Damian Jones and Pop Psy, 2010. 2011, Keith Benson. Remember him? 2012, my man Mike Damn Scott got drafted. John Jenkins also got drafted. 2013, James Ennis, Raul Neto, Shane Larkin, and my man Dennis Schroeder. Averaged 14 points, 4.8 assists for the Hawks. 2014, Adrian Payne and Eddie Tavares. Eddie's still playing out there in international play. I think he's won a championship or 2. 2015, Kelly Oubre. Of course, we didn't keep him. He went to Washington. 2016, DeAndre Bembry, Isaiah Cordier, and Kay Felder. 2017, John Collins, Tyler Dorsey, Alpha Kaba. Alpha Kaba's out there playing international somewhere too. By the way, John Collins is the only other power forward that averaged 20 points in the season. In the last 15 years, nobody else has done that. Go back to wherever Sharif played. That was the last time John Collins, Sharif Abdul-Rahim. We've had a forward score 20 points in the game. John did 19 points, and then the next year 21 points, then the next year 17 points. John was the second leader scoring on our team until we got DJ. No other Hawks on our team was doing anything. (2018) Luka, Kevin Huerter, Omari Spellman, Devontae Graham. 2019, Jackson Hayes, Cam Reddish. By the way, go back to Kevin, 12 points a game. We know about that, right? Jackson Hayes, Cam Reddish, and I don't know who that person is. Cam Reddish, we know where he is now, right? 2020, Skylar Mays, Big O. 2021, Sharif Cooper, Jalen Johnson. 2022, AJ, Ryan Rollins, and of course last year, Kobe Buffkin and Seth. That's the Atlanta Hawks draft since 1983. So here's the question again. None of those players who don't have the numbers have gotten us a championship either. So are we better with less talent or more talent? Because the Hawks haven't had a whole heck of a lot of help here in 20 years. I just listed off 20 years of players, right? Don't even want to get into free agents and all that kind of good stuff, right? So one of the reasons I responded to the tweet in regards to accomplishments was that, number one player has never won a championship by themselves. It's never happened, not even with Jordan and the Bulls. Jordan and the Bulls had not just Pippen, but they had Horace Grant, and they had Paxson, and they had Scott Williams, and they had Livingston, and they had Craig Hodges, and they had Cartwright, and they had Winnington over a period of time. They had all these different players that did their jobs, and they did their jobs to the best of their ability, and some of them became really good at that job, whether it be playing defense, whether it be rebounding, whether it be taking a charge, whether it be hitting a three-point shot, whether it be hitting a 17-foot jumper, whether it be hitting free throws, whatever it was, they did that job very well, and they won championships together, having one really good player and a whole bunch of other players to surround them. That's how most teams have been built over time. Dirk won a championship with him being a great player and having a whole bunch of other good players around him that delivered on a regular doggone basis, by the way. not just Game 7 Kevin per se. Because outside of that, what did we get out of Kevin when we really needed him, especially that Miami series where Hunter was doing his job? We didn't get nothing out of Kevin. Kevin averaged like 9 points a game that series. While Trae was getting triple teamed, John shouldn't have played, and the rest of the team was also hurt. But anyway, the difference between the Hawks and all the other teams, they built their teams around the best players that they had, and the Hawks did the opposite of that. The Hawks never built anything. They just put people out there and said, "Here you go, let's do it." That hasn't worked. In all of Hawks history, Hawks have had two dominant players in their rights, Dominique Wilkins and Trae Young. What Trae Young has done in 6 seasons, no other Hawk has done, including Dominique Wilkins. And not many players in history have done it. And that's a fact. Yet, let's get rid of him. Doesn't make a lot of logical sense. Well, let me keep going. Nobody's mad at Dominique for not winning a championship. Nobody's mad at Dominique by not being a defensive stalwart. Dominique was never shutting anybody down. That wasn't his job. Dominique's job was to get buckets. And he was one of the best in the league. People were scared to play the Hawks because who was going to stick Neek? Who was going to stop him? Talking about going toe-to-toe with Jordan, Dominique was one that can do it. Not many could do it. Dominique was one of them. But did we fit enough people behind Neek to help out with the other stuff? Because Dominique can't play 1-on-12. And back then, Dominique was on around the ATL. And Dominique was talking about having to play all these Hall of Fame players on these teams, especially that Boston series. In his interview we did with him, he talked about that Boston series especially. He talked about the duel. Dominique kept them in that series. We just needed a little bit more, and we just didn't have it. That's discouraging, isn't it? Knowing how close we came. Nobody's mad at Dominique not getting out the second round. Nobody. And Dominique has a statue. So what does he have the statue for? If he doesn't have a championship, all of his accomplishments that's put him in the Hall of Fame, why does that matter? And why don't people say that about Dominique? Or Carmelo Anthony? Or anybody else? Luka hasn't won anything yet. By the way, going back to Carmelo Anthony, the people in New York don't boo him when he comes to town, when they see him in the stands, faking that shot. They weren't booing Carmelo. Carmelo had one winning season in New York while he was there. They weren't in the playoffs in New York while Carmelo was there. They were losing every year. Every year. Tremendously losing. But he was getting his points, though, because that was his job. Nobody got mad at Carmelo not playing no defense. He was scoring. No championships, though. No rings. Kyrie, until this series, Kyrie never played no defense. And Kyrie hasn't won anything. Well, let me take that back. If Kyrie had won that championship with Cleveland, would y'all be the same with Kyrie? But since he does have that championship, but he's not known for defense, though. So how do you separate? Because up until then, how did y'all feel about Kyrie? Good question, isn't it? Ja Morant hasn't won anything, right? Why is he recognized? Oh, he's excited. See, why is it going left and right? Steve Nash is a 2-time MVP. Nobody got mad at him for not playing defense. And let's go back a little bit. You got Mark Price. Mark Price was never known for defense. But look at the players he had around him, though. Hot Wad Williams and all the other ones. Hollywood, right? I remember that team playing the Hawks. Mark Jackson wasn't no stopper of anybody. but he sure could dish that basketball to the open man, right? Whether he was on the Knicks or the Pacers or wherever he was at, right? Who else? Allen Iverson wasn't no defensive guy. We'll cross you up. Iverson didn't win a championship either. Dame hasn't won anything, but he was always pointing at the watch, though. And he also don't play no defense. But he don't get the hate and the loathing and the disgust and the despiseness, that's not a word, but I'm throwing it in there, that Trae does. When Trae is averaging 25 and 10. And like I've said since his rookie season, Trae is trying to get 18 assists a night. I said it in Summer League. It's on the show. Record it. If he had had some players in Summer League, he would have been averaging 19 assists a game. Trae is passing the ball all the time. Hit your shots, though. And we just refuse to build a team to where that would happen on a regular basis. Don't have a center that can finish at the basket or hit a 15-foot jumper. Consistency matters. He's passing the ball a whole heck of a lot, and he still gets 10 assists a night. Everybody needs to do their job. Did I mention Zion? Zion had one nothing. Zion can't even stay on the court, right? He had one nothing either, though. But he was put up there on a pedestal as if he was going to replace LeBron. Has that happened? No. Right? By the way, Trae even the worst on our team on defense. I don't know if I got it still pulled up. Let's see if I do or not. Is this it? I don't know if this is the updated one, but I believe it is. But defensive ratings wise, this is use defensive ratings as an example. Trae is tied with Saddiq Bey, who was starting for us, right? Also, DJ is 119.1. That's Trae and Saddiq. 119.5. That's DJ. Okay. Those are three people in your starting lineup with a 119. So why aren't those other two players who are giving up a lot of points, why aren't y'all mad at them as much as you're mad at Trae supposedly? And as I pointed out, and I'm going to do this in another show, I can pull it up now. I can pull it up right now. When it comes to being mad at the last game of the season, how come y'all not mad at the people who are actually giving up the shots that were going in the basket? Because that is what matters, right? That's why y'all are mad, right? Well, put the blame where it's supposed to be for that particular game. Bogey gave up 10 of 16 shots for 62.5% from the field, 3 of 7 from 3. Hunter gave up 8 for 15 shots. That's 53% from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. Capella, 11 of 18 from the field, 61%. DJ, 11 from 19 from the field. That's 57.9%, 2 of 5 from 3. Trae gave up 6 of 14 from the floor. That's 42%. Garrison Matthews gave up 1 for 6 shots. That's 16%. Should have started Garrison. Bruno gave up 4 of 6 shots. West gave up 5 of 8. 66%, 62%. There's your issue right there. Why isn't everybody else blamed for giving up 60% and shooting that night? But Trae gave up 42, but y'all mad at him. Makes no sense. And that's just one game right there. One of the things I'll be doing very soon is I'm going to go through the rest of the season. I'm going to go game by game, and we're going to figure out what happened that game. Because some people don't really like facts as much as they should. Things that actually happen in the game, they don't like that. They just say stuff and hope it sticks. I don't like doing that. I like actually going over points in the paint, second chance points, fast break points, 3-point percentage. That's why earlier yesterday for 2 hours, I pulled I pulled the last game of the season, okay? And I actually no, my bad. I didn't go through that game. I did the January 26th debacle of Luka dropping 73 points in Atlanta at home. And I went through each possession that he scored. Each possession. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Who was guarding him and what actually happened? If you go back and look at that Twitter feed, because I actually posted the actual video of each shot. Whether it be a switch, whether it be a trap, whether it be one-on-one, whatever the case is, how was Luka scoring 21 points to get to 40 points, to get to 60 points, to get to 73 points? Go watch that for yourself. Because it wasn't Trae Young giving up all those points. But nobody's mad at the people who actually gave up the points. All of them. And by the way, I did list the 2 times that Trae gave up. He gave up 4 points because there was one. I guess he could have fouled him. I guess he could have wrapped him up, I guess. It was a fast break. That Trae was back on defense. Nobody else was. And then there was another one. Trae left the trap, and then Luka pulled up for a jumper. But for the most part, it was JJ on him most of the night. Clint, for some reason, was on him a few times. O was on him a few times. DJ was on him a few times. Bogey was on him a few times. But at a certain point, I'm like, now as I'm going through the footage, I'm like, my goodness, like we were not going to double him. We were just going to let him walk the ball up and do whatever he wanted to. There were so many times that the team didn't stop ball. Like JJ a few times didn't stop the ball. He's like behind, go look at the footage. Go look at my Twitter account. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. There it is. Go pull up my Twitter account from a day ago and go look at 73 points scored by Luka. Because if you're going to get mad and keep complaining about defense, the whole team has to play defense. One player can't defend 5 on the floor and then the other 5 people off the bench. 1 on 10. Nobody does that. And I understand if some people it's intellect ATL right there, y'all. I understand if some people have never played basketball before or never played a competitive sport before, but it doesn't matter. You need a whole team to be able to compete against another team. One player cannot do it. And the best example of that is the Bulls with Jordan. Jordan can make a team competitive, but to win, you need the other pieces. You need the coaching as well, but you need the other specialists. Who's going to be another defender on your team? Who's going to be that person you can rely on to hit that shot? The bad boy Pistons, the microwave. Who's going to be that person you could always rely on to get you 15 points a game? Well, who's going to be the guy who's going to get you 4 blocks a night, though? Who's going to be that person who's going to deter a shot like Wemby does? They don't even want to try to lay up the ball on Wemby. They go around. All the clips of that this season, y'all seen the highlights? When was the last time the Hawks had someone like that, Dikembe Mutombo? How long ago did he play? I posted that the other day. The last time the Hawks had anybody on all defensive team was basically Mookie and Dikembe. They did it a couple of years in a row. But Dikembe is the only Hawk that ever have won Defensive Player of the Year. The one player we thought was going to be able to do that for our team, or at least be named first or second team all defense, has never done it, and also has never played 70 games in a season either. And then DJ wasn't good on defense the entire season. The numbers dictate that. Kobe White dropped 40 plus on us, and most of it was on DJ. But y'all don't care about that. Y'all just cared about everything else. Come on, let's be real about that. So that being said, I had some articles that I wrote a long time ago in the olden days when I had time to write all the time. And I'm going to read parts and bits of at least 3 of them. One of them was called Hawks Fans and Reputation. So let me see if I can maneuver these screens. This is going to get, oh, great. That's not good. Okay, there it is. Let's see if I can do this and make sure that it works. So I guess I could have separated these a little bit better, but again, this was on the fly. So let me see if I can find it. Page 3, no, page 4. Hawks Fans and Reputation. This was back in 2000. Actually, this one is 2018. So I guess I'll give y'all some context. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just read bits and parts of it. So bear with me. What amazes me is people want to fight for Dennis as if he has been the best point guard in the NBA or Eastern Conference or the division. Okay. As if you feel he is right now better than, I think this was, I don't know if this was the playoffs or not, but Kemba Walker, who outplays him, John Wall, who always gets more points and assists, Kyrie, I was talking about point guards in the East then. Kyrie, unstoppable and has a ring, Ben Simmons, before the incident, as if you feel Dennis has a maturity level to actually lead this team despite losses that will happen this year, after saying he don't want to lose his prime years on a losing team. Remember he said that? We have to move forward. And sooner we cut ties with Dennis, the better. Pelicans can still be convinced to overlook. I was thinking about where he could go. And remember, he had gotten into some trouble or whatever. So I said, maybe the Pelicans will take him, all right? Maybe Pop will give Dennis a shot, but he shouldn't stay here. And for those who still keep claiming that teams should lose on purpose, how does keeping Dennis fit your narrative? This is when Dennis was having a pretty decent season. I think he was averaging 19. That was the 19 points a game season. We haven't signed a free agent yet. You know we have Collins. We have Taurean Prince. You see Tyler could do a little something. Omari already showing he is tough. Kevin will be playing later. And this is when I pushed Kevin. If y'all remember from my show, I pushed Kevin hard. I called him Red Mamba. But he just never did more than give us 12 points a game. That's another story. You know what Dedmon will give you. Baze is still here. We have a nice young team with a mix of vets. We might get Levine. Bulls have resigned him since this post. The Summer League team has mostly people that will not play in the NBA, plus a few that obviously will and a few that might have a chance. Should be looking at all the positives, not linger on the negatives. And for those who will still insist on believing the worst, you should be happy Trae isn't getting 30 and 10 right off the bat so we can lose all these games that you want to lose. But I feel you that you wish ill on the young man. You will be proved wrong. Stop being mad at the world and support your team and the players that we want to be here. That was in 2018. That was another interview I did with Bob Rathman after Summer League when Bob Rathman said, keep your shirts on. It's Summer League. And then we went to Vegas and saw what he did. And here it is, 6 years, and Trae has squashed everything in Hawks history already. And top tier in NBA history on several things I've already mentioned. But here it is. Y'all want to get rid of that player rather than all the other players I mentioned in the draft since 1983. Y'all would rather go with those guys that didn't do anything either. Okay? So that's one article I wanted to read real quick. The next one is, this is our team being Atlanta Hawks fans. So let me see if I can find that one real quick. Is this it? Oh, I skipped one. But I'm going to go in order because that's how I got it. So let's see. Is it page 7? I have a lot of articles. Okay, so let me go back to this other one. All right, let me backtrack. My bad, y'all. I forgot the order of these. So I'm going to read True to Atlanta. This was in 2015. This is the one I was looking for. So is anybody else tired of being middle of the road? And the fact the Hawks have been middle tier so long, only get middle tier draft picks, can't continue to be an excuse because some of these teams have young players They're not as high draft picks and become massively productive, right? One of our middle picks almost never got a chance to show he can play because of potato head. And when the Hawks did have horrible records to garner a high draft pick, what happened? We picked the wrong people. Since 1980, the only top 10 and above picks that actually played for the Hawks for a period of time and were productive are Stacey Augmon, Jason Terry, and Al Horford. That's it. Players that were top 10, players that were top 10 other than that, Al Wood, Keith Edmondson, Ramil Robinson, Adam Keefe, DeMar Johnson, Josh Childress, Marvin Williams, Sheldon Williams. That's who we got. Between picks 10 and 20, Hawks have drafted since 1980, Don Collins, Kevin Willis, Billy Thompson, Anthony Avent. I just read this to y'all, right? I did this in 2015. So I won't go through the rest of it because I've already told y'all. Now, since 1980, the Hawks have drafted 7 people for the position of center. And I've already kind of gone over this again as well, so I won't rehash that. So basically, the Hawks' history is based on the fact that 8 other franchises in the Eastern Conference have scouts that are tangibly better, coaching staffs that over the years are tangibly be better, head coaches, well, we know the answer to that, and then ownership. But then is it that the Hawks are cursed, doomed to be in the Netherlands of mediocrity with only once every 15 years to have a shimmer of hope of sustained winning? Fans are supposed to have higher expectations, right? Why should we have tempered expectations, especially now when the East is wide open? Remember, this is 2015, okay? Yes, we had injuries to start the year, but all of them are back except for Thiago Splitter. We play with high energy one night, then the next night we forget how to play. This is the last 2 weeks. All losses can't be attributed to being tired or injuries. Hawks are 12-9, 4-6 in their last 10 games, 7-4 at home. It's not about winning 60 games. And yes, it is still early, but tendencies tend to stay with you. Ask the Falcons of 2015. I am a fan that demands more at this point. Living in Atlanta, I spent the money going to games. When I can't go, I take my time to watch them on TV. When I can't do that, I listen to them on the radio. When I can't do that, I watch the box score online. I'm invested in this team. The one glaring weakness that lost those games when everything else wasn't working was rebounding, and the Hawks did 2 things this year to address that. We thought Thiago Splitter and Eddie. With Splitter being out 5 straight games, and with some of the teams we have played, I feel Eddie could have helped just because Hawks end up out-rebounding a team. If Hawks lose, means some of those rebounds weren't in important spots. I feel defense could have helped with Edey out there. This is when I was pushing Edey, thinking, let's get him out there. Let's see what he can do. Don't just sit him. Took forever for THJ to play. But overall, I haven't gotten that much time from them. Patterson is definitely an asset, but he also needs minutes to be effective. My point is, if you draft and stash until you're going to play them or don't bring them back at all. But if you're going to play them, play them. Patterson was stashed. He is playing. Edey deserves his shot 20 games into the season, right? This is a thing that we've done a lot, haven't we? Right? Last night, Lucas showed that he has some value. I want to see if that applies to Eddie. We as fans deserve more. We are the ones who go out to work the next day and have to fight with people on why they should take the Hawks seriously. We are the ones that wear the hats, shirts, jerseys, buy the matching shoes, whatever. We are the ones that are waiting for Nick to say, and friends, that is the dagger. It's us, right? This is back in 2015, I wrote this. Remember, I do have that sounder on my radio show too from Dominique when he did the interview. I got him to say it first. We are the ones that suffered through the Nick years, knowing how close we were from dominating the Eastern Conference. Watching Smitty and Dikembe do all they could. Watching a young Al take it to the Celtics. We are the ones that sat through the years of 1999 to 2006. We sat through the Nick trade. We saw Nick get a statue, though. I sat in a hospital room last year. Oh, wow, I forgot I wrote this. So I have to say it. I sat in a hospital room last year with my dying father as the Hawks started their run. Remember, this is Bud's year. We sat through the Hawks getting swept in the Eastern Conference Finals, though. So sorry, I want more. I want the best, and all the Hawks fans should expect and demand it. Because without the fans, there would be no National Basketball Association in the first place. So excuse me for being highly upset at what I'm seeing. Getting swept by a team we should have beat. And all we needed was either doggone Jeff Teague to be Teague time for a series, or Al Horford beasted, which he had all the talent in the world to do that. Again, I'm going to say it again. Al Horford should have been a 24-12 player, and Jeff Teague should have been a 20-plus point, 10 assists a game player, and we only got a quarter of that at any given time. And I'm still mad about that. It ain't cool to me. It shouldn't be cool to y'all. Okay? That's just a glimmer of what I'm going to be doing when I do some of my new shows coming up. I'm going to break this down decade by decade, game by game, video by video if I have to. If I got to do a video dissertation of each shot in each game, NBA.com will accommodate me. I got time, okay? Because at a certain point, this Hawks organization, almost no matter who's in charge, won't do right. Won't do right by the players, won't do right by the city of Atlanta and all the fans within it. They continue to believe that they know what they're doing better than all the teams that are winning. And that makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. And it upsets me. Okay? And again, I hope that everybody gets a chance to subscribe to the YouTube page, IMTN Worldwide Radio. Again, you could subscribe or follow on Facebook, IMTN Worldwide Radio. Also on Instagram as well. Make sure you follow me on Twitter if you get a chance, Intellect ATL, and of course, Jordan 23 ATL when we do our dual show. One thing I also wanted to mention real quick. You don't give away your best player. Nothing ever has come good for other teams even doing it. And when you look at other teams, whether it be how far away are they from winning, and you look at like the Claw going to Toronto, for instance, and then they won a championship. And what have they done since then? Not a whole heck of a lot, but they have a championship, though. They have an Eastern Conference championship and a Finals championship, right? Right? Think about the New York Knicks in the Patrick Ewing era. They put some players around him to make that team competitive for a decade plus, and they got the two finals. They won the Eastern Conference twice, and they got to the finals twice because they built around their best player. Two different teams went to the finals, and we won't even do it once. We won't do it. We refuse to do it. Makes no sense. Does it? Right? Think about the teams that have won and think about the teams that have not won on a consistent level of any kind. Whatever your scope is as far as what success is, look at those teams and then look what the Hawks have done decade over decade over decade. And here is another opportunity, and it's just been wasted. Again, I'm gonna die on this hill. The Hawks should have made the playoffs the first two seasons of Trae Young. We could score, and we had nobody to stop nobody. Trae's job is not to stop the center, the power forward, the small forward, and the shooting guard on the other team. And those are the ones who are dropping 30 on us all the time. Y'all would have an argument if whoever Trae is guarding is dropping 30 each night. And that's not happening. Doesn't happen. Every now and a blue moon it might, but nowhere on the basis of being in any kind of mode to say, oh, well, I saw somebody on Instagram say, because I think Bleacher Report posted how Trae Young is the only one of three players to have back-to-back 25 and 10 seasons. And somebody said, well, post his defensive stats. I was like, well, why not post DJ's defensive stats? Because his guy is dropping 50 right now. Drop Clint's stats. Why are our points in the paint always bad? Second chance points. Why are we giving up layups? Go back and look at that 73-point game and look how many layups Luka had. It ain't cool, folks. Look at that Bulls game. Last game of the season. How many layups did Clint give up? We need to have better all the way around. And better is not dropping your 25 and 10 guy and replacing them unless you're getting Gary Payton. Is there a Gary Payton out there? And remember, pace of play is going to change if you had DJ here at the point. Think about that. Get the players around Trae. Trae don't have to score 25 points a game. He don't have to score 30 points a game. He can do it, though. One of the reasons we got swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers 2 years in a row is because we didn't have anybody to be the best player, to be better, and could do it. Trae's been in 3 playoff series, and he's averaging 26 and 10 in the playoffs. He's only been in it 3 times. No other Hawk is doing that. Go look. Trae's the only other player to appear in the Eastern Conference Finals as a Hawk, and he got the team there. That 48-point game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. What he did against Boston, carrying the team. Just needed a little bit of help. We would have beat Boston last year. But we don't have the production from the other players. And again, back to the main subject, production does matter. Accomplishments do matter. And all concepts and contextualization and everything, without the stats, nothing matters. Guys, I always talk about on my Sunday night basketball video. When I go play basketball on Sunday night, I ain't going out there to get a good sweat, guys. I'm about to be 50 years old soon. I'm playing with guys who are 30 years younger than me sometimes. Think about that, okay? Full court, running, playing 4 or 5 games, 12 to 16-minute quarters sometimes we're playing each game. And then the last game is up to 25, and we're playing 2s and 1s. Those games could be forever. But I'm out there, though, because I'm trying to win the game. And I talk about, I'm not trying to shoot my team out the game. If I miss my first couple of shots outside or whatever, I'm not shooting no more. And I might not shoot at all, depending on who's my team. Because once I see who's on my team, I'm like, okay, there's my shooter, there's my point guard, there's my help on rebounding. So that way I ain't thinking I got to try to get all the rebounds. But I'm going down low. I'm asking for the ball. And when I get the ball, I don't have to score all the time because I'm trying to look for somebody to pass to get the best shot. Because I'm trying to average my 6 assists a game like I usually do. You cut to the basket, I'm going to give it to you. You get to the open space, open shot. Because they can't get around me. Run the offense through me. Let's do something. And then if I do have a mismatch down low, yeah, I'm going to hit my turnaround fadeaway jumper or baby hook, one or the other. And then when I'm really feeling good, got my knee brace now, by the way, yeah, I'm going to hit some jumpers too from outside. I'm going to hurt you because you ain't going to be expecting it because they know Chris don't shoot that much. When I feel like shooting, you better stick me because I'm wide open. I'm trying to win the game. Put some players around me. And if I know I don't have any players around me now, I got to do some coaching. Hey, here's where you need to pass me the ball. Because if you don't know how to do an entry pass, I got to tell you, right? Hey, be looking for me because I'm going to set a screen for you. They ain't going to know it's coming, but you be ready for it because you'll have a wide open shot because they can't get around me. Not going to let them. Let's win this game. I'm going to set a screen and I'm going to cut to the basket. Hopefully the ball is coming because I'm going to get a layup. Guess what I can do? I can finish at the basket, unlike some people. I'm trying to win the game. And that's what the Hawks could be doing, but what they keep doing is just not putting the team around the best player to win games. We got to be able to stop some people We need more than one person to do that. We need several people to do it. We need our shooting guard to be better. We need our small forward to be better. We need our center to be better. Who's coming out of the draft? That clinging guy? That's a deterrent. That would swallow up a whole lot of stuff in the inside. Second chance points will be lower. Points in the paint will be lower. That will help us out a lot right there. We need a small forward that will clamp up the best scorer on the other team. We don't have that. How do I know? Because we keep having players dropping 40 on us. It ain't cool at a certain point. There got to be some pride. I tell you on my Sunday night basketball videos, if I get switched on somebody who's obviously faster, let's say they're Allen Iverson. I can't guard Allen Iverson at my height or my age. I don't got the foot speed. However, I'm going to do my best to stay in front of my man until we can switch back. And I can have enough energy to do that, plus use my wingspan. You think you're going to jump over me, but you really can't. I ain't going to let you. Now, you can get around me, but I could also recover and maybe block you from behind, or at least make you pass the ball. I can play defense for 3 seconds or so, okay? Where's my help after that? Because I'm the center. I ain't supposed to be out there, okay? But if I got to switch and get up on somebody, I'm going to do it. If I switch, I'm not going to let you hit a wide open 3 at the top. I'm coming all the way up. But I got to hope my man switches on my man. And that's what we can't even do as a Hawks team because we ain't coached right. Because I've been telling y'all, we need somebody who's really good at coaching actual defense and teaching it. We don't have it. Because otherwise, we would have better points in the paint, better second chance points, and we would get back on defense on fast break points. And all of our losses, you can point to those 3 things along with 3-point percentage, and that's why we lose all these games. Why can't we rotate? Why do we keep overhelping? All the time? Who's looking at the tape? I'm trying to tell you. I'm always rotated. We're always moving on Sunday nights. You got to be in some kind of casual shape to play when we play, because we're not just standing at the 3-point line for crying out loud. We're moving. We're setting screens. We're hedging. We're setting double teams. We're not going to let somebody hit all the shots. We see somebody want to be Michael Jordan out there, I'm probably going to be the double because I got the arm length, I got the size. So I'm not going to just let you keep shooting it. First of all, we're going to get the ball out your hand coming out the court. That's one. You get across the line, you still got the ball. Okay, here you're at the top of the key. Here I am. You're going to have to get rid of the ball. That comes from playing for a long period of time, but also from being taught. And then being able to talk during the game to say, hey, this is what we're going to do in this situation, whatever. Accomplishments matter. Cumulatively, history-wise, you can't just throw out what a person has done. You can't do it. You can't just wash it away and just be like, they didn't win a championship. Again, as much as the guys on TNT have a good time about it and everything, Charles Barkley is one of the best power forwards of all time, and he was 6'4" doing that against some of the biggest guys in the NBA over time, some of the best. And he did it for a decade plus. Production, it matters because it keeps your team in the game. He can give you 26 and 12 every night. You got to put some people around him, just like Phoenix did with Steve Nash. He had Amari, but you also had other players around him too that did what? Rebound, block shots, play defense. While Steve Nash is just dishing it and y'all can finish. Y'all getting layups and dunks. He's putting y'all in the best position because that's what is the whole definition of the point guard, putting you in the best position to score. Who cares how you score? Karl Malone has how many points getting the ball from Stockton? Who cares? Oh, well, he can't get no shot on it. Well, yeah, he kind of can because he can also hit a jumper. Develop a jumper. Do your job. You see what I'm saying? But who cares? Because Stoudemire got all those assists from Steve Nash, or Jason Kidd got all those assists to Dirk, or Gary Payton got all those assists to Kemp. Dunk, Rain Man. Y'all remember those dunks? Right? Why can't the Hawks do that? And yeah, the Pacers do it with that squad. Turner in the middle, All the shooters that he got out there. Now they got Siakam. Just passing it. 15 assists, 16 assists. These guys are finishing. What in the world? They don't play no defense, and they know it. They're almost proud of it in Pacer land. We're not going to play no defense, but we're going to outscore you, though. We're just going to outscore you. If we don't outscore you, okay, that's us then. We didn't do enough. The Hawks should at least do that. Get us better players so we can outscore players. But we couldn't even do that this year. See where the problem lies in that? Well, Chris, we had the injuries and everything. Injuries are an excuse. There always will be an excuse. So I did this show really because of Eddie, okay? I felt I needed to do a show. I hadn't done a show in a while. I wanted to do a show. It was impromptu, didn't care. I'm in a little bit of pain, didn't care. I wanted to do a show. And accomplishments matter. Trae Young and what he has done for this organization is a big doggone deal when nobody else has been doing that. Y'all remember the list that I read? None of those players have done anything. Think about that. Marvin was number 2. Hunter is number 4. Sheldon Williams is number 5. Right? There's an expectation level when you're that high. Sorry, that's the game. Don't go in the draft if you don't want to get drafted high. Your whole draft status is based on what you've done or your potential to do. Kyrie Irving got drafted after 11 games in college. Potential? No, everybody doesn't live up to potential. Well, a lot of them do, but for some reason, the Hawks can't get a whole lot to do it. That's a problem. Isn't that a problem for anybody? Of all the players, I mean, at the end of the day, John Collins exceeded his expectation. He wasn't drafted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. But John Collins had a 19 points a game, 10 rebound season, and a 21 points a game, 10 rebound season, back to back. And then averaged 17 points a game, 9, 8, 9. Not a lot of people did that. And definitely not on the Hawks. Look at Hawks history and look how many players have had a 19-point game season. There's only 2 players in the last 6 years, other than DJ, that scored 19 or more points a game. Trae Young and John Collins. That's it. Really, the last 10 years. That's it. And remember, the 60-win team was like the A team coming together. Specialists, and a really good, you got Bud, Coach Bud, like Hannibal Smith. Bring the team. I love it when a plan comes together, right? What if we could replace that with what we got now? Imagine if Trae Young was on the 60-win team. That 60-win team would have won a championship. Take Jeff Teague out, put Trae Young in. My goodness, you had Al Horford who could finish at the basket, hit a jumper, hit a 3, block shots, rebound. Kyle Korver? Paul Millsap? With Trae Young? You kidding me, right? Would have ran Cleveland out of the ground. But we couldn't even stop Tristan freaking Thompson, though. I always will blame Al for that. Couldn't stop him. Cares about Bron. We stop everybody else, we win that series. Cares about Bron. Care about LeBron. Could have beat them. Could beat them. Should have beat them. I always will say that. Accomplishments matter. Matt Ryan's career matters. Julio Jones' career matters. Jesse Tuggo's career. Scott Case. Jamal Anderson. Morton Anderson. Everybody. Terry Pendleton. All the guys who all these different players over the years, whether or not they didn't win one or they won one, but only the one, they all matter, y'all. Dominique Wilkins, Doc Rivers, Kevin Willis, all of them, even John Contract, for crying out loud. Their careers cumulatively matters. Now, some of them weren't the greatest players in the world. They played their hardest. They did what they could. They contributed as they could. But the fault of the organization for not doing better is messed up. What were they seeing? What couldn't they see? Why can't we give Dominique Wilkins, one of the greatest scorers in NBA history, better talent around him to beat some of these other teams? Why can't we make a move? What are the excuses when we keep seeing other teams either spend the money, right? Spend the money and sign that free agent, make that trade, right? Or do better in the draft. How are some teams just so much better in the draft all the time? Well, Chris, every team hits or miss. Not some of them don't. Not on the level that the Atlanta Hawks have. You know what I'm saying? Like that's. I mean, again, I might do a generalized show and just go through the Eastern Conference and just look at the draft the last 15 years of other teams compared to the Hawks. Y'all heard me read off the Hawks since 1983, the players that we have drafted. Do I need to go through the Lakers or the Celtics or, the Orlando Magic for that matter? And this is one thing that my co-host Jordan Jackson mentioned and keeps reminding me when we talk about. Think about all the teams that have advanced past us in the last 6 seasons. Okay? Cleveland Cavaliers, the Orlando Magic, Milwaukee Bucks, the New York Knicks for crying out loud, the Knicks, right? Pacers now. All these teams are above us. What does Francis say? Same like my boy Trae. All these teams are above us either because they've made moves to improve. Like that, and that was one of the biggest things about this offseason. This was the chance to fix the year before. Why do we need to keep going back to the play-in? We had a team that was 500 that was deeper last year than this year, and it was by choice. You really was going to roll the dice that Hunter was going to play an entire season? Come on. You didn't replace John's production and you thought he was just going to be not good forever? That was false. You didn't want to get better at certain positions? We just had to keep Trent? Really? Like, for real? Like, what are we doing? We made no moves in the offseason. We made no moves at the trade deadline. We didn't use the exception that we had. And we didn't make no moves in the contract buyouts either. We did nothing and said we're okay. Even with all the injuries, we had 4 guys down, 4 players down. We had like a 3 or 4 game win streak without O, Bay, Trae, and JJ, and we're supposed to be a better team without those 4 players, and then we lose 5 in a row to end the season. And we're supposed to just ignore everything. What are we talking about, folks? We're not better. We're not better. And the end of the season proved that. You have to be a deep team to win. You have to be able to be competitive at certain positions, more so than others. We watched Lou Dort shut down Brandon Ingram. We watched Minnesota beat Denver without the defensive player of the year because enough players play defense. Enough players say, this is my job. I'm shutting you down. I'm shutting you down. When I play on Sunday nights, there are certain players that I know I'm a better opposition for than somebody else. And sometimes I'll switch somebody to be like, look, let me switch on him. And then sometimes I say somebody needs to switch for me because this guy, I can't stick him. I can't stop. There's a mismatch here. Because I don't got no pride. Because I'm trying to win the doggone game. We let Lucas score 73 down points. I'm sorry for cussing on my own show. I never do it. We let him score 73 points. And we only trapped him like maybe once or twice in the whole game. I posted all of it on my Twitter page. Again, go to my Twitter page. Francis says our front office is a mess. Why do we got why do we got two assistant general managers? I need to be a third assistant general manager as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, make sure you go to my Twitter page, Intellect ATL, right there, and go back and look at the video that the post of each bucket that Luka got and the description of it and the video showing it. And how many times did we try to stop him with an actual trap or double team? There was a couple of times we kind of almost doubled. I might come. I think Bogey did it one time. I might come over and double team. We maybe think about it a little bit. Luka's already done his thing. Let me think about stopping him at the top of the key. No, Luka's already done blown by you, JJ. One time there was a double team, and then he split the double team, and then Clint's trying to come around, and then he stumbles and falls on the floor. I think DJ fouls him at the bucket and one. What are we doing? Well, blame Trae though for giving up 73 points. Can't do it. You can try to do it, but you can't because there's video. You see what I'm saying? Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube page for IMTN Worldwide Radio. I'm about to get out of here. Again, I just wanted to do this show for Eddie. I wanted to do a show. Again, this wasn't a prepared show. It was definitely impromptu, but I felt that I needed to try to do a show, try to do something that I think he would have appreciated, just per everything going on with the Hawks right now. And, you know, Am I here? My screen just blanked out for a second. So hopefully I'm still live. I just felt I wanted to do a show. So again, try to make sure y'all stay in touch. I'll be doing more shows. We have some regular shows coming up, our 2-hour show. We have one coming up. I don't know if it's going to be this weekend, but definitely next week. We're going to touch on the Falcons draft, talk some baseball, the Braves, Atlanta United, Atlanta Vibe. The Atlanta Vibe is a volleyball team, professional volleyball team in Atlanta. We'll talk some Dream basketball. Season will be starting soon. It's kind of early to talk college football, I think, so I don't know if we'll touch that at all. We'll see. But we do talk UGA, but we also talk Albany State and Clark and everybody else like that. Again, we always talk Atlanta sports, whether it be the city of Atlanta or the state of Georgia. Francis asked, who do we blame? It's all about coaching. Well, here's the deal about that, okay? It definitely is, but it's still a matter of having the pieces to coach. But really, I think the whole coaching staff, it failed on us because, again, who's the person responsible for defense? There's just no way anybody can just argue with me and say, we got somebody that's responsible for it. Because how can you just be so bad each night? Points in the paint, second chance points, fast break points, and three-point percentage. Everybody gets better at shooting threes when they play the Hawks because they know we're going to overhelp. We won't train it out of our guys. We won't do it. I've played basketball for 40 plus years. I've never overhelped. Ever. Some of it is because of my height. I don't got to. Okay. But if I switch, I'm switching. Or I'm preventing the switch in the first place by hedging or fighting through the screen, which we also don't do. There was one play, it was Wesley Matthews. It was a three that he gave up on Luka because he went. Y'all just need to go look at that. I can't even describe it. It just makes me mad. Just watching it was when you watch it, it's just like, who's talking to y'all on the bench? So yes, it's definitely coaching in there. But again, that's just if you can't coach it, you got to get some players who are good at defense by default. Oh crap, it's going to storm again. You got to get some players that are better at it, period. Okay? Because all of them are putting in effort, but some of them just ain't good at it. And so you got to get better. Okay? But if you had a better coach, a coach with pride on defense, again, if the Atlanta Hawks play a little bit of defense, the Hawks would always be a 50-win team. Because scoring is never really an issue. But we just can't stop nobody. So I blame the people on that coaching staff, whether it be the film room, Somebody. Heck, free throws. How many games have we lost by 5 points or less? You see what I'm saying? Turnovers are going to be a part of the game on the point guard side, so the people who want to argue that. But I also look at the fact that Magic Johnson averaged almost 5 turnovers a game for his career. Jason Kidd as well, I believe. Steve Nash, not so much. But when you're passing the ball a lot, you're going to have some turnovers. Okay? They need to be fired. I agree. I've already, like I said, I've done a breakdown about that for a while. And again, I said that last year. I was like, last year we needed to have some changes. Get somebody, get Sheed, get Gary Payton, get somebody to be like, hey guys, y'all ain't doing this right, and y'all not doing it hard enough. Why do we never have nobody back? Again, that 73-point game, there's a couple of fast breaks where, why is Trae Young here and where's the rest of the team? Trae the only one getting back, but y'all blaming Trae about the defense? There's 4 other players not in the picture here. But y'all want to try to blame one person. The points in the paint. Trae Young is not supposed to stop Joel Embiid or Hartenstein for that matter. That's not his guy. Short people and tall people don't mix. You got a height advantage there. Where is the tall guy to stick the tall guy and to keep him off the glass? And where's the tall guy to stop the layups? My God, that Boston series, how many times did Brogdon lay the ball up on center? It's frightening. Isn't it frightening to y'all? That's embarrassing. I can't let that happen. I can't just let the small 5'2" point guard come up and try to get a layup on me. Somebody's getting this. Ouch, that really hurt. I forgot about that. They're getting the elbow of death, or they're getting a block, or at least I'm getting a hand up. If you're able to do a spin-a-rooney or whatever you want to call it, up and under or whatever, and you hit the shot by a miracle, okay, fine. That might happen once, maybe even twice, but it ain't happening a whole heck of a lot because I'm going to not let it happen. Not on me. You need to take another shot, sir. The big man ain't supposed to just give up all those shots. Oh, and by the way, your shooting guard shouldn't let you get to the basket either. Just blowing by you, just blowing by you, just blowing by. You got the foot speed and the arm, the wingspan. You're supposed to be better at that. Points in the paint are being off of blow-bys too. Crying out loud. Maybe the coaches don't see. They got to see what they see. They got cameras. See, that's what I'm saying. Either someone ain't coaching it, or y'all not look. They can't be looking at the film. The over-helping part is what kills me. Because again, when you got one player looking on the other side of the court, not on his man, like Bogey likes to play safety all the time, there's no way for you to do what you're supposed to do because you ain't on nobody. And for you to be mystified of how this person got a wide open shot and throwing your arms up in the air and pointing at people, no. You just decided that you just weren't going to stay with your man, and or you're going to stay 15 feet off of him and hope for the best. No, the league knows we overhelp. The league knows we don't stay with our man. They know it. That's why I said when I play, I don't care if I even get switched on a faster person. I'm staying with you. You want to run me around? I'll run with you. Y'all going to have to try to screen me off of this person now because now you got the tall person on the shooter. He can't get his shot off now. You see how that works? I'm going to stay with my man. I'm not worried about what's happening on the other side of the court. It don't got nothing to do with me. My job is that this guy right here ain't going to score while I'm on him. That's the job. That's what we don't have on our team. We don't have anybody who is doing the job. Hunter's supposed to be that guy. DJ's supposed to be that guy. Clint's supposed to be that guy. The numbers say otherwise, though. And I just read off earlier What happened in that last game, that Chicago game? Y'all want me to read it out again? I'll read it out again. Because I think I got it pulled up still. Man, my shoulder, I shouldn't have did that elbow. I'm really in pain now. Bogey gave up 10 for 16 shots for 62% from the floor, 3 for 7 from 3. That's 42% from 3. Hunter gave up 8 for 15 shots from the floor, 53%, 2 of 3 from 3. That's 67% from 3 he gave up. Clint Capella gave up 11 of 18 shots at 61%. Murray gave up 11 for 19 shots. That's 58%. 2 of 5 from 3. That's 40% from 3. Trae Young gave up 6 for 14 from the floor. That's 42% from the floor. Matthews, 1 for 6 from the floor, 16% from the floor. Again, Garrison should have started somehow. Bruno gave up 4 or 6 shots at 66%. Matthews gave up 5 or 8 shots against the Bulls, 62%. And Bruno and Matthews all gave up a three-pointer apiece. Trae gave up 1 three-pointer. Murray gave up 2. Hunter gave up 2. Bogey gave up 3. There's your ball game. Y'all would have had an argument the last game if Trae had gave up, I don't know, 12 of 14 from the floor or 90% from the floor. That didn't happen, though. So why are you blaming Trae when you should be blaming Bogey, Hunter, Clint, and DJ, and Bruno, and Wes for letting White get 40 points in the game? At the point he got 20 points, why ain't we switching somebody or why ain't we doubling? It's crazy talk. I've been playing basketball for 40 years. I don't care what level you play. Basketball is basketball. Certain things just don't change. You just got to do them. You hedge or switch, get back on defense, block out. Do those things, we got a chance. We won't even do that. Francis says, bro, we have the worst coaching staff in the NBA. I wouldn't say the worst. There's just bits and pieces of it. What should you do if asked to fix this team? I'm going to have to do another show to do that. My main thing is get a better person on defense. Someone who cares about defensive side of the ball and someone who can make adjustments. The reason that the Hawks lose games is that the other coaching staff can adjust and our coaching staff, for whatever reason, won't. We won't do it. Q is good on adjusting on the offensive side, but he ain't supposed to be the defensive guy too, though. We need to have somebody who's good at that. All the other teams have somebody. Hawks haven't, and haven't had it for a while. That's not. It's just not cool to me. It's just not cool because they're bad. Yeah, I know, but again, sometimes things are possible and things are not. And see, that's where it goes into the organization. What's up with the GM? We don't have a GM. We have a make-believe GM situation. And again, this third this third GM that we have, I'm sorry, guys, I'm in a lot of pain right now. This GM we just hired, is he going to replace Landry? Hopefully. That's what I need to have happen. Because, again, we went through an offseason and did nothing to improve the team. From a team that was basically a 500 team the year before, and the year before that, and we basically said, no, we're good. And we're good with letting John go for nothing. They perpetrated that, right? And then you put Bay and JJ in the starting lineup and didn't replace their production. Remember that. I keep telling people that. We're missing 3 position players, basically. We're not better. We couldn't be better. And then you're relying on Hunter to play the whole season. And then, unfortunately, you had Bay get knocked out and JJ. We had no depth. And you're hoping that, you can, like Battlestar Galactica, you could just get a whole crew from the civilian fleet to become Viper pilots. I'm doing some sci-fi in there. Don't work. You gotta have some people. And we didn't have enough people as opposed to all the other teams that have depth. And their records show it. Their records prove it. They can fight through anything because they got Nas Reed and other players like that on that team. They don't know how to negotiate. It ain't that they don't know how. They don't want to. It's a big difference. When you're published in magazines more than once saying that you don't care about the luxury tax, and then you do everything other than spend money to go over the luxury tax, you're a liar. And that's what the owner of the Hawks is, a liar. He said he wanted to spend money to make this team a competitive team. He's done nothing of the sort. Nothing. He's done the opposite. He's settled, and we're going to just put some glue here and some tape here, and we're going to hope for the best. We got what we need right here. We got what we need right here. We had 3 players for 60 games almost, 50 games, average 7 points a game together. 3 players, 3 roster spots. That don't make our team better. It don't. Look at our record. I'm so mad with the front office and the coaching staff. Well, like I said, we're going to find out. And again, for the fans, for the players that are on the team, they need to do better all the way around. It ain't cool. But like I said, it's really not cool that so many don't want to acknowledge what really good players have done in their career so far for the team that wanted them to be here. And you would rather get rid of one of the best players that the Hawks have ever seen and replace him with, I don't know, Ish Smith. Y'all want Ish Smith here. Right? Who do y'all want? Y'all want Ish Smith? He's better. Y'all want to get Kyle Lowry on his last legs? That's what y'all want? That's what y'all saying. Say it with the chest. Y'all want to get rid of the 25 and 10 guy and replace him with a 10 points a game, 4 assist guy. Let's get Jeff Teague back. Jeff Teague got another year in him, I bet. That'll make the team better, right? Sitting on the side, let's see if I can recreate that real quick. Sitting on the sideline like this. Get out of here with that. I'm glad I was able to do a show, y'all. I'm about to get off of here unless I get some more notes or messages on the messenger. Thanks for everybody who's watched. Definitely, like I said, subscribe to the YouTube page for IMTN Worldwide Radio. That's where I'll be airing most of my shows. Follow me on Facebook; you'll see it on there as well, obviously. And I try to post events in the pages as well, so you see that the show will pop up or whatever. Also, follow me on Intellect ATL on Twitter and also Instagram and Facebook. IMTN Worldwide Radio. Is the front office. If I'm reading that right, you're correct again. Like I said, our front office has had the opportunities, though. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point, they got to care. I mentioned on Twitter a month ago, I guess, Steve Ballmer. And I posted him at Microsoft as they launched another Windows product or whatever. And his hypeness, dancing, singing, and everything. That's what he brings to the team that he bought to say, I need this team to try to be better. And no, it hadn't worked completely yet or anything like that, but at least he's making the attempt. He got PG-13 and the Claw and Russ and all these players. He's at least trying to make it better. And before that, he had Blake and all of them and everything, right? CP3, DeAndre Jordan and whatever, right? Bringing some life, bringing something to the table, as opposed to what the previous regime had been doing. And all of a sudden, the team is on the map. Okay. No, the Clippers haven't won a championship, but they're much closer to a championship than the Atlanta Hawks are, aren't they? People go to the Clippers to go play. They win in the West. They compete in the West, right? Hawks can't even compete in the East. That's a shame because we don't have an owner that wants to do what's necessary to make things happen. Starts from the top. The owner has to want to, what have I always said? 5 things have to happen to win on a regular and consistent basis. Number one, the owner has to want to win. Nothing happens after that. Two, you got to hire the right people to make the sound decisions on a regular basis, not just one and done. Three, you have to have a good to great coach. You have to have good to great players. Then you got to be a little bit healthy. Think about how many times in the last 30 years the Hawks have had 3 or 5 of those things. Think about that. And that's why the Hawks can't compete. There you go. Right? Ownership, obviously, is the easy one to look at. General management, spirit group, right? Coaching, obviously. How many? We've had Bud, right? I still say that, oh gosh, I forgot his name just that quick. The coach before Paul Bearer, he should have got another chance to coach another season because he had those guys on the uptick, taking it to the Boston Celtics and everything, right? So I count him as among those coaches that were decent and good. Let's see, who else? It hasn't been a lot. Of course, the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello, right? We haven't had a lot of good coaches in Hawks history. Just go all the way down the line, right? And of course, y'all heard me mention all the players that we've drafted over the years. And how many free agents have we not had come here? Can't make a free agent pitch. You can't bring an air of level of the playing field to make players want to come here and think we got a chance to win. It's not good. And then, of course, health has come into play. If the Hawks hadn't had no injuries this year, could we have advanced? Possibly, but we'll never know. We do know that we were 2 games away from the finals, though, before Trae went down, though, don't we? Think about that. We always will think about that. And look at what the Hawks organization has done since that season. You wanted to try to depend on a player that was only averaging 12 points a game. You tried to depend on a player who was never really going to get you more than 15 points a game and never be a defensive stalwart like he was supposed to be. He was drafted 4th as Defensive Player of the Year out of Virginia, national champion, and he still has never been on the first or second team, all defensive team, and has never played 70 games in a season. Talking about Hunter, drafted 4th. Ain't enough. Cam, complete waste of time. We were all in, and none of it, again, things sometimes don't work out, but again, the players have to want to work it out too. Right? Besides the coaching part, you got to want to do that. When I come on the court on Sunday, I have it in my mind what I'm going to be trying to do that night per who's out there. Like I said, once I know who my center matchup is, I know if I'm going to have to go up against basically Joker or Joel Embiid, okay, at any given night. I got to adjust accordingly because my job is to not let you score on me. I'm taking you out of the game, whatever I got to do. I'm putting all my energy in not letting you do what you think you're going to do because I got pride in what I got to do on my job. I got to do it. It's my job. You got to be responsible. You got to be accountable. Please tell them to leave Trae alone. I'm not going to do that. Everybody can say what they want, but all I want people to do is back it up a little bit. Say it with your chest. Say it at the game. Say it to his face. Buy the home court, the front court seats, whatever they're called, and say it to his face. We don't like you. We know that you're doing legendary stuff in 6 seasons in the NBA. You lead the Hawks all time in assists. You're going to lead the Hawks of all time in every other category other than rebounds and block shots. And we know that you're doing historical things that only LeBron James and Russell Westbrook and James Harden, the Oscar Robertson has done. And you're going to be ahead of those guys at a certain point if he plays long enough. We know your playoff career is pretty doggone good compared to every other freaking Hawk in Hawks history. Think about that. All the playoff series that the Hawks have been in, and Trae has already exceeded all those guys by a lot. And he's only been in the playoffs 3 times. If Trae just had a little bit of help, just need a little bit of help. Just need a little bit of help. Because when you get a little bit of help, a lot can happen. Ask OKC. Ask Minnesota. They went and got the Defensive Player of the Year in Minnesota. And look what's happening to them now. We either need to have a center that can score all the time, or we need to have a center that stops everybody all the time, or a mixture of the two. But we can't keep doing what we've been doing because it ain't working. We need a small forward that can D up somebody or give us 22 a night. And again, I'm going to say it one more time. Hunter can do it. He just hasn't. When are we going to ever get it? Oh, now he got to come off the bench to do it? Maybe, kind of. We should have been getting 19, 20 points a game out of Hunter. I'm sorry. We should be getting 6, 7 rebounds a game out of Hunter. I'm sorry. There's other players that do it. Why can't he do it? There was one show I did. There's 2 shows I did. And if you go on IMTN Worldwide Radio, there's 2 shows that I did on Hunter. One of them, I put up all the other number 4 draft picks since the 1999 season, and I asked a simple question. Y'all don't think Hunter should be better than half of these guys? And he ain't. Ain't that messed up to some of y'all? Go back and watch some of the shows on the IMTN Worldwide Radio page. There's a good article on IMTNWorldwideRadio.com. I would love for y'all to read. I probably will try to post it. Make sure y'all go to IMTN Worldwide Images, though. That's my photography site. I do business headshots. I do acting headshots. I do modeling portfolios. I do family pictures. I do graduations. I did my first prom shoot this year. It went pretty well. I had to go to Albany, Georgia to do it. It was a nice little drive. But if you know somebody on the planet Earth, they don't have to live in Georgia. I can travel. But I need more than one person to want to shoot in another city. I can't go to Iowa for one person, if that makes sense. Okay? There's costs involved. But if you go to IMTN Worldwide Images there, hopefully y'all been visiting since I had it pulled up. It'll help me out if y'all can pass the word a little bit. I really would appreciate that. But for sure, IMTN Worldwide Radio on Facebook and Instagram. Please subscribe to the IMTN YouTube channel. I will be doing more shows on a regular basis. I probably will do a couple of more shows before the end of this week, because I'm going to start my end of the season for the Hawk shows. Again, I'm going to break down each game. Well, I'm not going to break down each game. I'm going to break down all the losses of the 2023 season. I'm going to go over the best 2 players on the other team and what they did. I'm going to go through all of the players on the Hawks for that game and what they did in the loss. How much did we lose by? I'm going to go over points in the paint, second chance points, fast break points, and 3-point percentage given up. And I'm going to give it to y'all to say, well, how did Trae lose this game? And I'm going to go through 83 games doing that and ask the question, are we really better without him or not? And y'all will be the judge of that. But to discount his accomplishments as if they're nothing because he hasn't won a championship, the Hawks haven't won a championship. It's not that Dominique Wilkins didn't win a championship. The Atlanta Hawks with Dominique Wilkins didn't win a championship. And they haven't won a championship without Dominique Wilkins, by the way. Y'all would have an argument if that had happened, right? But Trae going to another team puts them as a contender automatically, which is why every team in the NBA would love to have Trae on their team. Yes, they would, right? Because it's an immediate upgrade. D-Lo, bye. Now you got Trae Young in there. He has AD on his team all of a sudden? Oh, my goodness. AD might score 40 points a game with Trae over there. And with LeBron, sheesh. Talking about finisher. You put Trae on some of these other teams, they're an instant contender for a championship. Because he can get you 17 assists, 18.17 assists a game, or if he got to, he can drop 30 on you. He could drop 40 on you. He could drop 50 on you. But we don't want that, though. We want Ish Smith or the equivalent of Ish Smith. Rather than everybody else on the team just doing their jobs better. We don't want to put it on anybody else. DJ, play a little bit better defense for us, guys. That's what you were brought in here. You actually have been named to a defensive team before. What happened? Hunter, we've been relying on you for 5 years to play better defense. We still ain't getting it. Clint, what's happening? That's another thing about coaching. We still keep putting Clint out there like he's stopping people when he ain't, and he doesn't score more than 11 points a game. That's a problem. He ain't getting 20 rebounds a night. He ain't getting 4 blocks a game. He's getting 1.2 blocks a game. That ain't helping nobody. Sorry, it ain't. We don't have no bench. That's a problem. Bogey's our bench. And a little bit of Garrison sprinkled in there. That's it. That's not enough. Look at all the other teams. Look at all the other teams that are ahead of us, guys. It ain't enough. And for anybody to pretend like it is, delusional. It's just hatred, really. That's what it comes down to. It's just hatred. I always talk about criticism and hatred are two different things. And to act like Trae ain't one of the team leaders in charges taken, and to act like he don't have the steals is crazy as well. And to act like he gives up all the points is just wrong. It's just factually wrong. It's just wrong. Yeah, Trae turns the ball over. Sometimes he has some bum turnovers too, because they don't got nothing to do with passing the ball. He just turns the ball over. He has some of those. But he more than makes up for that on the other stuff. And he's the only one on our team that ever gets to the basket. He always leads our team in free throws. DJ should be getting more free throws than he does. He don't go to the basket enough. But his defense, Hunter's defense, Clint's defense, those are kind of primaries when it comes to defense, and we ain't got it. We weren't getting it. And that's why our scores are like they are. When you don't have no fear of laying up the ball, you lay up the ball. Nobody's going to stop you. When you know you're playing the Hawks, you're going to shoot all the threes that you can because they ain't going to come and stop you. So we ain't going to come in. We ain't going to come put hand up. We ain't going to come off a switch. The Boston series, I showed the video. I did a show on it. Look how many times Hunter got stopped by a screen, by a guard. Put his hands up. Hey, ref, help me out. Help me do my job, ref. I'm getting held up by a screener. Instead of fighting through the screen or not being allowed to be screened. You see Marcus Smart all the way over there. I'm not letting him screen me. I'm already hedging him and staying with my man. You can avoid a screen. I talk about it all the time on my Sunday night basketball videos. You can avoid a screen. I do it all the time. Sometimes I just pick up the guy and move him out the way. Get out of my way. They say I can't do that. Yes, I can. I just did it. I'm not letting you screen me. And at the end of the day, if you communicate, you always have the man to pick up off the screen so that way your man is not wide freaking open. The other 2 Sundays ago, I was mad because 3 separate times nobody called out the screen on me and I was blindsided and the guy had a wide open shot because the other guy didn't come to pick up my man. And man had wide open shots. I think he hit 2 or 3 of those. And they kept on saying, man, my bad, Chris, my bad. Should have called it out. I was like, yeah, let's just keep going. But yeah, you messed up. Like, you're supposed to call those out. You're supposed to call those out. I think my signal is fading because it's storming pretty good out here. I'm going to get off of here now for sure. Thank you all again for tuning in, for those that did. By the way, if you've never actually listened to a full show around at ATL, we do take callers. One of the reasons I hadn't done any shows is because the company that handles that part hasn't been working, okay? So that's why I haven't done any live shows in a while, because they've been trying to fix it. So hopefully the next show, y'all, I will have the number up, which just for y'all's information is this one right here. Y'all can call into the show. You can call into the show and tell us your thoughts and everything like that. Remember, though, it is a clean show. We don't be cussing and killing people on the show. But it just hasn't been working, so that's why I haven't done any live shows. That's why I do side notes, where I'm just doing this right here. Y'all can interact through the chat room, if anything. So, again, thanks for Francis for chopping it up in the comment room. I appreciate that. Thanks for all that did listen and watch during the live show. Hopefully, when I post this up, y'all will watch this, in the future or whatnot on your own time. But be sure to, keep in touch. Again, I did this show for Eddie. I wanted to do a show somehow tonight. Didn't plan it. I just said, man, I got to try to do a show after everything that's happened today. I think he would have enjoyed it. And again, it is just basketball, as Brandon on the home court page says. It's just basketball. To get to the point of just saying things to hurt people or saying things to just be demonstratively evil makes no sense. I ain't all about that. I don't got time for all that myself. Okay, I'd rather not do that. And I'm referring to Jamal closing New Pack City. Okay, and we've had some discussion since that's happened and just talking and chatting it up a little bit in the past when it first happened and stuff. But I remember what he said when he first closed it up, and it wasn't cool. And I agreed with him. So it's just unfortunate that it got to that point because he did so much for everybody in the community, as far as Hawks fans. And it should never get to that point, right? So yeah, that being said, I'm gonna get out of here one more time. Again, thanks Francis for chopping it up a little bit. Appreciate that. Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel, IMTN Worldwide Radio. Again, Facebook, Instagram, IMTN Worldwide Radio. Twitter, Intellect ATL, right there. And that's it. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace. Oh, by the way, also I do know I gotta change some of the intro. I did a new intro about a year ago. A lot of stuff has changed since then, so I gotta change some pictures and whatnot. So that's gonna come sooner or later, but don't worry about it. But let me go ahead and do this outro. I'll talk to y'all another time. Peace.